You're watching ABC7 News at 7.
An answer. Obviously, he should take a few days to consider it. But we should get this resolved. So back up from that. This should be over with by September 1st.
Will President Trump be interviewed by Robert Mueller? If he doesn't, will the special counsel subpoena the president to appear before a grand jury? Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohen, and welcome to ABC 7 at 7. We'll have more on the week in Washington in a moment, but first, our top stories at 7. The Republican primary in the race to replace Congressman Tom Rooney has gotten downright nasty, with candidates trading blows about war records and now malpractice. Tonight, State Representative Julio Gonzalez is talking to ABC7 about a lawsuit involving the death of a patient at his medical center on the Suncoast. Gonzalez is a surgeon and owns the Orthopedic Center of Venice. That center is now being sued for malpractice in the death of a 75-year-old patient. ABC7's Rebecca Fernandez talked to Gonzalez about what's behind the suit.
The lawsuit was filed about a year ago by the family of a 75-year-old man who they say died while in their care 3 years ago. But the lawsuit does not have Dr. Gonzalez's name on it. His partner at the Orthopedic Center of Venice, Dr. Tracy Ng, is being accused of poor medical care that contributed to John Green's death in 2015.
Well, my office is a party to the case only as it relates to vicarious liability, only because Dr. Ng was under my employ at the time that the events occurred. There is no liability being sought after me personally, nor after my practice, independent of any actions that they are inappropriately alleging for Dr. Ng.
Dr. Gonzalez was questioned about the matter, and his attorneys had filed a motion to keep that video deposition private. However, in court documents filed yesterday, the defendant's attorney responded by accusing Dr. Gonzalez of trying to keep this from the public because of his own political agenda. But he says it's the opposite.
This is precisely one of the reasons why I ran for office, not only to combat this, but because I knew that people are scared of running for office because of this very problem. They're scared of running for office because they're going to get smeared, whether it's fairly or unfairly.
Dr. Gonzalez says he believes this lawsuit and the deposition has now come to the public eye because of his opponent for the primary race, State Senator Greg Steube.
Now, having seen this come out and having been the victim of this vicious attack, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the, I think it's 3-4 hour deposition on film on my website. I have asked my attorney to purchase it. We have to pay a significant amount of money to purchase it, and I'm going to put it on my website or on YouTube, but I will make it freely accessible to the public.
We reached out to the attorney of the defendant, and they said although Dr. Gonzalez's name is not on the lawsuit, it being his practice, he was negligent, and they plan on proving it at trial. Live in Venice, Rebecca Fernandez, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
Governor Rick Scott is demanding Senator Bill Nelson provide proof to back up his claim Russian operatives had penetrated some of Florida's election systems. Scott, a Republican, is running against Nelson this year, and during a campaign stop in Tampa said Nelson must come clean. Nelson made his comments earlier this week, but said he could not provide many details because the information is classified.
We wrote and signed the joint letter to all 67 county supervisors of elections to tell them that the Russians are in Florida's records, the Department of Homeland Security that will come in and help secure their database, their election records.
State officials have said they have not received any information to corroborate Nelson's comments. Governor Scott and Senate President Joe Negron touring areas affected by the algae bloom. The two visited the St. Lucie River and other areas impacted by blue-green algae caused by Lake Okeechobee's water releases. The governor is providing $700,000 in funding to Martin County to help clean up the algae blooms. The funding is part of a $3 million grant directed by Scott through the emergency order he issued last month. Florida lawmakers will not be holding a special session on the state's Stand Your Ground self-defense law. 49 members of the House voted against the proposal. The request to revisit the self-defense law came in response to the shooting death last month of Marquise McLaughlin in the parking lot of a Clearwater convenience store. Tensions over the shooting escalated after the Pinellas County Sheriff refused to arrest the shooter, Michael Draka. The case remains under investigation and has not been closed. A Sarasota man who allegedly shot and killed a Fort Myers police officer has been indicted on first-degree murder. Court documents say 29-year-old Wisner Desmaret was running from Officer Adam Jobbers Miller after allegedly stealing a cell phone last month. Investigators say Desmaret appeared to surrender and then pulled the officer's gun from his belt and shot him. A grand jury indicted Desmaret today, along with charges including grand theft and aggravated assault on an officer. Florida retailers feel last weekend's back-to-school sales tax holiday went better than expected, considering electronics were not on the list of tax-free items for 2018. While officials say numbers won't be available until next month, shops are saying the weekend event was good for business. The tax-free period on clothes, footwear, and school supplies ran from August 3rd through the 5th. It is estimated the average consumer saved about $50 in state and local taxes over the weekend.
It was a pleasant surprise given that there was no technology included this year. I think a lot of that has to do with just the overall state of the economy. Florida's economy has been humming right along for a while now. Consumer confidence remains high, unemployment 10-year low.
Miller says retailers will push for a 10-day sales tax holiday next year that once again includes tax breaks for electronics and tech items. Now let's head over to ABC7's Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan with the First Alert forecast. Bob.
Well, we got the latest from the FWC as far as the mapping goes of our red tide samples. They've gone down a little bit in Sarasota County from 40 to 29 samples, showing up from very low to high concentrations of red tide along area beaches from Englewood northward up into, again, mid part of Longboat Key. You can see a little bit more yellows in there, some moderate levels as well. We'll get a little closer look at some of these in just a minute now. High level meaning concentrations of over 1 million cells per liter. All you really need is low concentrations to get fish kills, and when you get up to 1 million cells per liter, that starts to kill some big marine life, and we've seen that already. Now, heading down south near Manasota Key, report there. Also, as you head northward now, you can start to see it increasing as well in a few samples. It goes into the moderate level as you head toward the airport. Venice and then places to the north we're showing up into low concentrations. Here's Siesta Key, still a couple of areas showing up as some high concentrations. Not as many, but quite a few right around the passes. Big Pass as well as into New Pass, some high concentrations there near Lido. And then into Manatee County, not as many. Longboat Key, the north end, not too bad, but right there at Longboat Pass showing up as well, and some high concentrations near Anna Maria Island, a little less as you push further north. Pinellas County even showing 2 samples of low to very low concentrations there. Lakewood Ranch webcam had a little clouds, a little shower activity around earlier. That has since moved on. The evening plan looks to be pretty good. Looking at generally fair skies right now, should be a pretty nice sunset. We'll have the complete weekend weather forecast coming up in just a few minutes, and you can get that on our weather app as well. You just go to, again, your app store and download First Alert Weather, and you will have a tool in your hands that will take you through the tropical season, and it will be much needed, actually, to track these storms if they do come around, and hopefully they won't. Alan?
Bob, thank you. Kristen Davis, known as the Manhattan Madam, appeared before a grand jury in the Russia investigation today. Davis is among several witnesses subpoenaed by special counsel Robert Mueller. CNN's MJ Lee has the latest.
The woman known as the Manhattan Madam, Kristen Davis, scheduled to testify today before a grand jury in Robert Mueller's Russia investigation. Special counsel investigators could be interested in her ties to longtime Trump advisor Roger Stone. She was interviewed by investigators last week. She and Stone have been close friends for a decade.
Kristen Davis is a brilliant woman, a friend of mine, someone who has made mistakes and has paid her debt to society.
Davis once ran a high-end prostitution ring. She went to jail as part of the scandal surrounding then Democratic New York Governor Eliot Spitzer.
The remorse I feel will always be with me.
She even unsuccessfully ran for New York governor in 2010 with Stone as her strategist.
I have redeemed myself, and Americans believe in second chances.
Davis has also worked with Stone more recently. In late 2016, she helped him with clerical tasks and his website.
She knows of no Russian collusion or WikiLeaks collaboration or any other illegal activity on my part in connection with the presidential election or otherwise.
Mueller's team has been looking into possible contact between Stone and WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange during the 2016 campaign. U.S. intelligence concluded Russians hacked the Democratic National Committee and Clinton campaign officials and provided the stolen emails to WikiLeaks, all as part of Moscow's effort to meddle in the election. Assange denies the hacked documents came from the Russian government. Stone once bragged about being in contact with Assange.
I actually have communicated with Assange. I believe the next tranche of his documents pertain to the Clinton Foundation, but there's no telling what the October surprise may be.
But later walked it back.
Where's the proof? There is no proof.
But the circle continuing to tighten around Stone as Mueller has also subpoenaed Randy Credico to testify next month. The comedian and radio show host's attorney telling CNN he intends to comply. Stone claims Credico was his back channel to Assange during the 2016 campaign. Stone telling CNN, "I now realize that Credico's source was a WikiLeaks lawyer and not Assange himself. At no time did Credico tell me what the source, content, or scope of the WikiLeaks disclosures would be." And while Davis appears to be cooperating with Mueller, another former aide of Stone's, Andrew Miller, did not appear for a scheduled grand jury hearing today and was held in contempt. His attorney telling reporters,
"We supplied all the documents that they wanted, so we had to have one thing that he was refusing to do, namely go before the grand jury in order for us to get the contempt and to appeal."
Coming up, a rising star in the Sarasota Republican Party and a man on a mission to make the minority community a political force on the Suncoast. The Trapezoid is next.
Designers do it with style.
Tell me what's going on here, because
well, you don't like my hair?
The Mark and Mandy Show. In-depth design ideas.
What is up with the tuck tape here? Let's cover it up.
Amazing beauty and fashion tips.
So Halle Berry has amazing skin. Her secret is coffee grounds.
No.
Delicious recipes.
Today, I'm going to show you a special dish that is sure to please that special someone in your life.
Watch The Mark and Mandy Show right here on your favorite channel.
I heard about the Dotoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dotoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was. I can tell you that you will not find a finer, more professional team of clinicians anywhere in the world.
Did you know that a dirty CPAP system could make you sick? If you knew what could be growing in your mask and hose, it would keep you up at night. Now, SoClean.com has released the world's first automated hands-free CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. With its patented design, SoClean is fast, effective, and hands-free, killing 99.9% of all CPAP germs and bacteria. Try SoClean now through this special TV offer, risk-free for 30 days. Just call 800-604-0398.
The SoClean works, and it's a really effective product, and I couldn't believe how easy it was to use.
SoClean works on all popular CPAP machines and masks, destroying CPAP germs and bacteria without the daily hassle of washing your system by hand. Just place your mask in, close the lid, and walk away. Voila! Sanitized and ready to use. Try SoClean risk-free for 30 days. This is a limited-time offer. Call now, 800-604-0398. Or visit SoClean.com today.
When you are home alone, an emergency can become a tragedy. However, with any of Life Alert's 3 emergency systems, help can be summoned immediately, whether in the bathroom,
I've fallen in the shower,
at home,
Help! I've fallen and I can't get up.
and on the go.
Help! I've fallen in the park and I can't get up.
Don't worry, help is on the way.
Life Alert saves a life every 11 minutes.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-518-0221. That's 1-800-518-0221. Call now, 1-800-518-0221. For a free brochure, call 1-800-518-0221.
Welcome back. I don't know about you, but when I go on vacation, I unplug. But when the president goes on vacation, it just means he has more time to tweet. In the week when his former campaign chairman is on trial and he and his lawyers huddle about whether he should talk to the special counsel investigating the Russia interference and obstruction of justice, in a week when the latest Republican in a ruby red congressional district gets shocked by a Democratic congressional candidate who has no business coming even close to winning, the president once again found time to tweet about NFL players kneeling or otherwise protesting about social injustice. Joining us for more are Nick Altier of the Sarasota Republican Party and Ronnie Jones, the president of the Manatee County NAACP. And Ronnie, let me get your take on the president's tweet today. The NFL players are at it again, taking a knee when they should be standing proudly for the national anthem. Numerous players from different teams wanted to show their outrage at something that most of them are unable to define, that make a fortune doing what they love to do. The quote there that I'm most interested in getting your reaction to is unable to define.
That would be par for the course, I would say. Many blacks feel that President Trump has a very poor opinion of African Americans, blacks, and also other minority groups. So that would definitely be par for the course, I feel, for his attitude that he's displayed since his rise to being the President of the United States. So.
Nick, does this play well with the president's base? Because after all, he is trying to gin up enthusiasm for the midterm elections, or would you prefer him not getting into the NFL?
Well, I think first and foremost, this was specifically the Dolphins, correct? Yeah. So they need to focus on winning before they're focusing on protesting. They've been letting me down for years. But as far as Trump, does it play well for his base? When I go to work each day, I don't protest at my job. And I think that the football players should go out there and focus on what they were paid to do and play ball. When it comes to Trump getting involved, I mean, Trump is the president of the United States, and he's involved in everything that happens. So if he feels the need to provide his opinion on this matter, by all means, just like they have the right to protest, he has the right to present his opinion. As far as the comment on, like, hating black people or what?
I don't think I said hate.
Or poor, what did you say exactly? Poor?
Poor opinion.
Poor opinion.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that either. I think he's been positioned for maybe having a poor opinion, but I haven't seen it, and I haven't really seen enough evidence to provide me with that.
But isn't that part of the problem, that Trump supporters don't believe that anything the president says in regards to this in particular goes to anything about his racial feelings, but many in the African community do think that, you know, it is what it is.
Well, I think one thing people need to dial back to and start taking into consideration is behind every label you give them, whether that's millennial, Democrat, Republican, white, black, or whatever race it may be, it's a human being behind that label. You know, and too often we forget that. Whether it's on social media or if it's face-to-face, people aren't kind, and people need to start looking in the mirror and being nice to one another.
A quick reaction?
Yeah, I agree with there's people behind it, and people have rights to express themselves. Standing up for the national anthem, that's a choice, and they do play when they go onto the field. I think they earn those paychecks. Those are highly competitive jobs, and jobs that have very short careers. The average length of stay in the NFL, I think, is about 3 years. So they have every right to protest, and I'm glad they're protesting. And actually, for Trump to do his North Korean dictator says his mafia style of bullying people around, that doesn't resonate, and it should not resonate.
Okay, we have to take a quick break. Our conversation on the Week in Washington continues right after we get a check on the First Alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Yeah, we're kicking it outside, Alan. Right now, ABC7 Tower Cam looking over Sarasota Bay from downtown Sarasota, showing a few clouds coming in from the west there. That's that mid to low level circulation, bringing in a westerly component. And not much expected as far as any rainfall goes through this evening. Should be a nice sunset, too. A gorgeous one with with some high clouds around. It's going to be spectacular. Here's a look now at what's going on as far as the headlines. They read like this: a few coastal showers in the morning. We're back to that pattern again with that activity possible on Saturday morning, and then again on Sunday morning, shifting to the inland areas and inland communities later on in the afternoon and evening. Some of those storms will be a little stronger too, the ones that move inland. Tropical system trying to develop out in the Gulf of Mexico. It's not going to have much of a chance over the next 5 days. After that, maybe, but still, the winds in the atmosphere are very strong in the upper levels, and there's a lot of shearing effect going on now in the Atlantic and the Caribbean for that matter, so we don't expect that to rapidly develop. Temperatures in the low 80s by 11 o'clock tonight. It'll feel like about 90, 91 degrees at 11. And because of the lack of rainfall this afternoon and evening, high pressure down to our south, bringing us this westerly flow, which pushes everything to the east in the late afternoon. You'll see nothing going on here right now. Some heavy weather. West Palm Beach, just stretching down to Fort Lauderdale, Miami, Florida City, all the way into Key Largo tonight. Some strong cells there. And the rainfall estimates, although we did get a little bit here across parts of North Sarasota, most of it was east of I-75 today and along the east coast. Some dry air is still kind of rotating around this upper level low that you see spinning right there. As it moves further away from us, we'll start to see a little bit more moisture content come back into play. So our morning shower chance will be a little higher than it was this morning. We had a few, but not many. Tomorrow, just a few scattered passing showers expected. That westerly flow continues across all the Gulf of Mexico. West to northwest wind up to 15 miles an hour right there, 16 miles an hour, well offshore of Sarasota at one point. So with that in mind, we're not going to see things change much as far as that goes over the weekend because of that position of the high pressure ridge to our south. So tonight, generally fair throughout most of the early morning hours, and then you'll start to see some indications, some showers scattered about after sunrise and then pushing off to the east. This is at noon 30, and you can see the heaviest cells by far in the interior portions of our viewing area. Same situation takes place on Sunday with the few scattered showers in the morning along the coastline in the morning, and by say 1, 2 o'clock, most of it should be well to the east and north of us at that point as we see that forecast take shape. Now, as far as that system is concerned, there it is. There's not much to it really. It's a tropical system way out there in the central Atlantic pushing off to the west. It has a 20% chance of developing in the next 5 days from now. Temperatures currently not too bad tonight, mid 80s up and down the coast, 85 at Longboat Key, 87 in Palmair, Sarasota now at 86 degrees, and Rosedale the same, as well as Laurel Oak, and 85 now in Osprey. The boating forecast tomorrow, we'll see seas running less than 2 feet out there. Winds out of the west at 5 to 10 knots, and same goes for Sunday for boating. Morning showers possible, 30%, a better chance for inland showers at 50%, and then the same goes true for Sunday, a little bit better chance for some showers. Temperatures will warm up into the upper 80s to low 90s, and we get back to that east to southeasterly wind flow, but not until Thursday and Friday of next week. Alan will be back with his guests right after this. Stick around.
If you think it's hot outside, just wait until you see even hotter savings inside. Only at Rugs As Art Hot Summer Savings Sale event will you find the lowest prices on a vast selection of stunning rugs, furniture accents, and accessories. This special event only happens once a year, so hurry in before the best selections are gone. The Hot Summer Savings event ends soon, so don't miss out on the best prices ever. Rugs As Art, Sarasota's only area rug superstore.
Did you know you could get life insurance for less than 32 cents a day? With guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TrueStage, you can get up to $25,000 in protection with a single phone call, and you cannot be turned down for any reason. Even if you have health problems or are living on a fixed income, guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance policies could work for you with prices starting at less than 32 cents a day. That's as low as $9.40 a month. TrueStage can help free your family from immediate financial stress when you're gone.
Utility bills, mortgages, car payments, those are a lot of things that can add up pretty fast.
My mom didn't have life insurance and the cost all fell on me. And that's expensive. We're still paying for that.
Yeah, we're still paying for that.
Call 1-800-218-4991. Now, in one phone call, you can help prepare your family with protection amounts up to $25,000. There are no medical tests or health questions. And remember, you cannot be turned down for any reason. In fact, TrueStage policies are already protecting over 18 million Americans. And rates are designed to be affordable, starting at less than 32 cents a day. That's as low as $9.40 a month. Plus, your price will never increase and your benefit will never decrease.
When I leave, everything will be taken care of for them.
Call 1-800-218-4991 now for a free, no-obligation quote. TruStage offers plans to fit your budget with prices starting at less than 32 cents a day. Help protect your family from immediate financial burdens after you're gone with guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage. Call 1-800-218-4991 now.
Welcome back. We are talking about the week in Washington, and joining us for more are Nick Altier of the Sarasota Republican Party and Rodney Jones, the president of the Manatee County NAACP. Let's talk a moment about the Russia investigation. The Manafort trial continues this week outside of Washington, D.C., and you also have the Madam of Manhattan testifying before a federal grand jury. And Rodney, a lot of people, a lot of Republicans look at this and say, what does any of this have anything to do whether the Russians not only interfered with our presidential election, but whether anybody in the Trump campaign colluded or conspired with them?
I think it has everything to do with everything. I think people are forgetting about, have put business and growth and economy, economics and power over character. Character should be the defining principle, and we can honestly say, I think all, regardless of where you may stand, this presidency has been unprecedented. With the behaviors, with the constant confusion, a lot of distractions at a time when the country truly does not to be distracted. You know, we talk about a thriving economy, but how do you have a thriving and a strong economy when you're $23 trillion in debt? You're borrowing money from your neighbors to pay. Right. I mean, who can operate a home with a deficit for same principles apply?
But Nick, let me get your reaction to what Rodney is saying about the issue of interference and character and the economy.
So I'm a Christian. I'm not going to defend a prostitution ring. I just never will. As far as corruption, it seems like there's a lot of corruption going on, or at least a lot of speculative corruption going on, from Tony Despito with the Clinton Foundation, I'm pronouncing his last name incorrectly, accepting $500,000.
Do you mean Tony Podesta?
Podesta, yeah.
The chairman of Hillary's campaign's brother.
Yeah, accepting $500,000 from the Clinton Foundation to what you were just discussing. It's stuff that it's not good for our country.
Right. You also have a New York congressman, one of the president's first supporters in Congress when he was running, indicted this week for insider trading. But the question of, you know, poll after poll shows that something like 80 or more % of Democrats care deeply about the Russia investigation, and almost the same number of Republicans think it's a distraction.
Well, I think it's about time they produce some evidence. If they're going to continue with these accusations, they need to provide some legitimate, tangible evidence that can prosecute him or whatever it may be. But they haven't provided that. They haven't provided any of the evidence.
But
it's
you
all
don't
speculative.
know what Robert Mueller knows.
Well, and a lot of us, we talk about high-level subjects, and we don't know a lot of what those guys know. That's just, it's all speculative. That's an opinion.
All right, we have to take another quick break. We are just getting warmed up. Our conversation on the Week in Washington will continue right after this break.
What do you get when you cross your tired, aching back with this fragile egg? The Egg Sitter Cushion, an amazing new flex cushion that supports your backside and spine so well you can sit on an egg without breaking it. Incredible!
You want me to sit on this egg? Okay. Can't believe I'm doing this. I don't even feel it. It didn't even break? Oh, I was wondering about that. Now that's a good cushion.
The honeycomb design is constructed of Elasticor that absorbs pressure points by collapsing in on itself. That's why even this egg won't break under direct pressure. Now long days at the office will be more comfortable, dinner more enjoyable, and painful car rides a thing of the past. Get your Egg Sitter Support Cushion for just $39.99. It comes with a free non-slip washable cover and our 10-year comfort guarantee. But wait, call right now and you can get a second cushion. Just pay separate fee. Call now.
Call 1-800-232-1564. That's 1-800-232-1564. Call now or go to eggsitter.com. Order now.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
If you're looking for the perfect trip that allows you to spend quality time with the family, then discover the great outdoors on an Alabama Black Belt adventure. Create unforgettable memories while hunting, canoeing, camping, and more. Or challenge yourself on Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, now celebrating 25 years. And while you're here, enjoy a Deep South dining experience. Book your adventure in one of our members' lodges or stay at the Renaissance Montgomery Hotel and Spa. Start planning an Alabama Black Belt adventure today.
A home can be much more than just a house. But for some of our neighbors, home means uncertainty and isolation. At Rebuilding Together, we turn houses into homes and revitalize our communities. Because a neighborhood is more than just houses and streets. It's familiar faces and open arms. Join the movement to ensure everyone can live in a safe home and community. Become a rebuilder today.
Growing up, my mom was afraid of the water, something she did not want me to feel.
So I enrolled Missy in swim lessons.
It changed my life.
Missy Franklin.
And now you can do the same for someone that you love.
There's nothing more precious than your child's well-being.
So act now before it's too late.
Make us fly! I'm glad I did.
Thanks, Mom. Visit usaswimmingfoundation.org to find, get, or give a swim lesson.
We have a lot to get through over the next few minutes, so let's start with the comments from Bill Nelson this week that he is aware that the Russians have penetrated Florida's election systems. He can't give more details, Rodney, because he says it's classified, and there's been a big outlash from the Secretary of State who says, if you have information, you need it to relay it to us, and Governor Scott made the same kind of statement today. Was it wrong for Senator Nelson to make that claim without being able to show any kind of evidence of what he's talking about?
I think if he made the statement, he should produce. Because now I'm curious, and I'm pretty sure every other Floridian is curious, and if there is some definitive information, you may want to get that out to our communities so they can prepare, and the IT people can do whatever personnel can do whatever they need to do. So I think if somebody makes that kind of statement, which is a pretty heavy statement, I think it needs to be backed up with at least some form of fact.
Nick, Marco Rubio, the other senator, the Republican, has been saying, not in that kind of detail, but has also been signaling that we should be very concerned about Russian interference in the midterms. So these two guys get information that we don't get to see. Should we be taking it seriously, or or do you think that the Governor Scott is kind of using this as kind of a campaign pinata right now?
Well, I'm curious. I mean, the accusation is a very strong accusation. Like, I agree with you. You should really produce something, a little bit of evidence. As far as Marco Rubio opinion,
No, that's all right. Let's move on to our next subject. We had another special election this week in Ohio, in a district where the president won it by something like 11 or 12 points last November, and a Democrat has not won in that particular district since 1980. Nick, if a Democrat could win in a district like that, are you concerned about some of the congressional districts around here, let's say Vern Buchanan's district, which the president also won by 10 points in 2016?
Not at all. Vern Buchanan, he leads the way, in my opinion. He right now just passed the Red Tide bill. He's a great guy. He's very active in our community, and he's been solid. He's had proven success rate. I don't think there's any concern at all as far as swinging.
But you know, the Democrats nationally have targeted Vern Buchanan. Once again, they don't always. They have put David Shapiro on the red to blue list, which means that Shapiro is going to be getting a lot of money. That doesn't happen in every ruby red district in Florida.
No, but I'm still, there's no concern. Buchanan's a strong campaigner, and he does right, and people see that. They vote for the people who do right by their community, who they know can support their interests in Tallahassee.
Rodney, is this the year?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that district is polling there, so I'm not sure, you know, what the Democratic candidate may do. I'm actually a Democrat and Republican person to the wind right now. You know, as a lot of us are. I'm certainly supporting voting and getting extremely active with that, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure of what's actually going on in that district and how strong those candidates are.
Because you and we're going to be talking about this in future shows, but you were really given by Charles Barkley's comments after the Alabama election that Democrats can no longer take for granted the African-American vote. You want Democrats and Republicans to come into Manatee County and basically earn your support.
Yeah, and what we're doing right now, we're organizing a way, we're organizing a black bloc vote. We've had our own internal debates with a couple debates with candidates, and we're organizing a block vote where we're going to decide which candidate meets the needs of our community, and we're putting all our votes behind one candidate instead of splitting off.
Well, shouldn't we be voting for a person and not a black vote? I mean, shouldn't we just be voting for the person who has the best interest in our community?
And we certainly are. That's why we said Democrat and Republican to the wind. We're looking for those that represent our needs in our community. And my perspective is probably going to be much different than yours due to the 400 years of conditions that we've endured here and still endure in 2018. So my perspective is going to be built largely around that, my community, my children, my family, and that. So our perspectives are going to be much different because
I'm sure there's a lot of anger still.
No, I didn't. Where did anger come from? I didn't say anger. I said my perspective.
Okay. Well.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not angry.
All right, let's turn to the governor's race for a second, because we're dealing with something absolutely fascinating right now. I know Republicans who have supported Adam Putnam for governor for the last 20-some-odd years, and the Republican establishment has been anticipating this election, but the president endorses Ron DeSantis, and lo and behold, some polls now show DeSantis up by 20 points in the Republican primary. Nick, are you good with the president injecting himself in a Republican primary like this?
I think they should let the primaries go. I think it was a little early for him to step in. But again, he's a citizen of the United States. He has the right to endorse whomever he wants to, just like the Republican Party has, and other individuals who have endorsed Adam Putnam have that right as well. So with his influence, you really just have to wait and to see how the elections pan out in the primaries, because even though the polls have been incorrect a lot. They were very much incorrect about the election with Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton, and yeah, we're seeing those numbers, but you won't really know until the election's results come in.
And Ronnie, let me talk about the Democratic side of things for a moment, because I know you're behind Andrew Gillum, but just weeks away from the primary, it seems that Gwen Graham has jumped out to, in some cases, a 9-point lead. Jeff Green, who has poured millions of dollars into his campaign, is not far behind. And Andrew Gillum is up on television. The ads are running on this broadcast, but it seems that he's not basically caught fire outside the progressive wing of the Democratic Party?
Right. I don't know. Time will tell here again. It's early still, and you know, I don't know who can put a whole lot of credence in the polls now. They're depending on which side is paying the bill of whoever's doing the poll can sometimes influence and skew those numbers, I believe. So I've never been a big fan of polls and the accuracy thereof. But I'm not sure. We like Gillum in the community. He spent a lot of time in the community. We saw him more than others. Like some of his values, so we were definitely going to support him.
But if Gwen Graham, let's say, won this primary, would you be able to support her in the general election?
We're going to support the best candidate. That's what we're asking our community to do, Democrat or Republican Party to the win. And I just want, you know.
What Republican candidate would you support?
For governor?
Mm-hmm. What were your list? Like, name your top 5. Like.
Well, there are only 2 Republican candidates for governor.
Sure, but there's multiple elections going on right now.
Yeah. On the Republican side, I hadn't really thought that way, to be honest with you. And then him interjecting into the, President Trump interjecting into the race. I keep telling everyone, President Trump is not a Republican. He plays Republicans like puppets. He's an elitist.
Nick, from the same token, hold on a second. I want to get a quick answer to this. I know a lot of Republicans who are so upset about this that if Gwen Graham does get the Democratic nomination against Ron DeSantis, they're going to be, whether they're public or privately, hoping that Graham wins. They're so upset about how the Republican primary is playing out.
They're hoping that. I can assure you that's not the case.
Well,
they're not in favor.
We've talked to a few. We do have to take a quick break, and we'll have to be back for final thoughts in just a moment.
The Players Center invites you to explore the family dynamic in the classic story of On Golden Pond. The Tony Award-winning play opening August 9th is funny, thoughtful, and brutally honest. Call the Players at 365-2494 or visit us online at theplayers.org. On Golden Pond is calling you.
Did you know that a dirty CPAP system could make you sick? If you knew what could be growing in your mask and hose, it would keep you up at night. Now, SoClean.com has released the world's first automated hands-free CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. With its patented design, SoClean is fast, effective, and hands-free, killing 99.9% of all CPAP germs and bacteria. Try SoClean now through this special TV offer, risk-free for 30 days. Just call 800-604-0398.
The SoClean works, and it's a really effective product, and I couldn't believe how easy it was to use.
SoClean works on all popular CPAP machines and masks, destroying CPAP germs and bacteria without the daily hassle of washing your system by hand. Just place your mask in, close the lid, and walk away. Voila! Sanitized and ready to use. Try SoClean risk-free for 30 days. This is a limited-time offer. Call now, 800-604-0398, or visit SoClean.com today.
Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beautyrest, iComfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
Another pair of satisfied emotions. Looks to me like elation and maybe some amazement. It's part of the Honda Summer Spectacular event experience. You could say satisfaction comes standard here, just like the Honda Accord comes standard with a luxurious, roomy interior. All at the Honda Summer Spectacular event.
We see it all the time.
Visit your local Honda dealer and test drive the Honda Accord, 2018's North American Car of the Year.
They are the greatest fighting force the world has ever seen. But what does it take to bridge the distance and keep them connected to family, home, and country? What does it take to strengthen our service members so they can be the greatest force for good in the world? It takes a force. Be a force behind the forces. Give today at force.uso.org.
And our guests join us right now for final thoughts. And Nick, we've covered a lot of ground today. What is the one thing you want our viewers to take away from this conversation tonight?
Well, number one, vote. Vote in the primaries. It's important. Voting's important. And the younger population, vote. Go vote. They're a strong population. The millennials are a great generation, and you should act as such and go out and voice your opinion. Besides that, I would say that people need to stop looking at things as red and blue and start looking at what's right for the country and who's going to best represent that. I believe the Republican Party is in best representation, and I think people need to pay attention to what's going on in the political arena and decide on those issues for themselves.
Yeah, Rodney, there's a lot of there that I would imagine that you would agree with, because we've talked about it a lot. We've talked about voter turnout and sometimes the lack thereof in the African American and Hispanic community, and I would imagine that you are working very hard to get people to come out, whether it's to the primaries or to the general election, because that's where political power comes from.
Right, and absolutely, I definitely agree with my colleague here on some of the points, especially as it relates to vote. We have to get to the polls. My communities have to get to the polls. It's imperative at this time. As far as I agree that a house divided against itself cannot stand. This frivolous Democratic-Republican fiasco is shameful and is detrimental to the country. I noticed that I would interject this in an area of concern that we really need to focus on. I want everybody to pay attention to this. And when President Obama was president, we heard nothing but about the budget every single day, about the budget and spending and spending. We don't hear that anymore.
Well, he also did not pass a balanced budget in his entire term of office.
I just know we have, if you look at the U.S. debt clock, that debt is still racing.
Sure.
And we are right around $23 trillion.
And thank God Trump's in there battling with the economy. We got the Dow
and we're only getting going here, and it's time to go.
Yeah,
gentlemen, thank you very much. We want to thank our guests, Nick Altair of the Sarasota Republican Party, and Ronnie Jones, the president of the Manatee County NAACP. When we return, the NFL preseason is underway, and it's never too early for the president to take issue with players for protesting social justice. Primetime headlines are next. But first, let's get a final check on our first alert forecast from Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
And don't forget about me, Alan. I'm here, man. I'm here. ACK webcam showing a pretty nice day out there on the beaches if you can avoid the areas of red tide. And there are some areas that don't have it. Obviously, it's patchy, but it is heavy and it is strong across places here in the Sun Coast. And as far as the wind flow goes, it's out of the west, and that's going to be pretty much of a situation that we're going to see all weekend long. And that west wind will die down a little bit tonight and will allow for a few coastal showers to pop up. We are looking at the heavy rainfall, though, down southeast of us into Miami and into the Keys. Key Largo had some big storms earlier. Nothing going on here, but notice these little showers starting to pop up here and there in the Gulf of Mexico. It'll take a long time before they get here, and that'll be well after midnight, and they'll be in place, I think, as we start the morning off tomorrow. Upper level low spins away with all that dry air and African dust in it. It heads off to the west. We do have a little bit more moisture coming back into place, so a better chance for some late day showers again into the interior counties will be a little bit more prevalent there, I think, as we push in through Saturday. But morning showers, yeah, they're likely, but they'll be scattered about. It won't be a rain out, and then we'll see the heavier storms showing up here in the red on the scale, pushing off into the East Coast. Now, same goes for true on Sunday. A few morning showers dotting the coastline. Other than that, the strongest cells by far well inland, pushing off toward the east in the late afternoon and evening. Well, looks like we are going to see a nice night tonight, though. And out in the tropics, we were watching this little area. There's not much to it, though, and it's way into the deep tropics right now. The winds are very strong in the upper levels of the atmosphere. That is not conducive for tropical development. In fact, it stays that way all the way through the Caribbean. Some of the strongest wind shear we've seen in years covering the entire Caribbean. On top of that, the coldest water temperatures in the Atlantic we've seen since 1960, and that's when the records were first kept. Temperatures right now into the mid-80s up and down the coast from Holmes Beach down to Longboat Key. 87 now in Kensington Park, Osprey at 85 degrees. And it's 87 in Port Charlotte. Northport, you're at 87. Same at the airport. And it feels like temperature's actually gone up now to 97 degrees. That's what it feels like with a dew point at 76. The high today was right at the average. The low was above average, and we're going to see these numbers in the upper 70s to low 80s over the next couple of mornings as a result of that westerly component to our wind flow. Look at all this rain here down in the south. Typically, a high-pressure ridge sits right here over the southeast and really brings us those late-day storms. But that's not the case this year. It's been kind of interesting with a trough of low pressure, a very persistent trough over the eastern third of the nation. Well, the heat goes on into Montana, Idaho, Washington, Oregon, California, and Nevada tonight. It's lessened somewhat into Arizona as a result of some moisture that has moved on in, but they're still battling that high fire danger out west as a result of a stagnant high pressure system. Look at these temperatures. Billings 98, 100 in Reno right now, and 83 in Los Angeles. A bit cooler in the northeast. Look at Toronto, 75 degrees. Well, our forecast for boaters tomorrow. Not much wind out there, 5 to 10 knots. It'll be out of the west with a light chop. Here's the forecast then. Slight chance for showers in the morning along the coast. A little bit better chance than 30 inland areas late in the day. Same goes true on Sunday. A little bit better chance for a few morning showers. We get some drier air moving in on Tuesday and Wednesday, and we get back to that east to southeast wind Thursday and Friday of next week. Alan's back with primetime headlines right after this.
So you've decided to go to college. That's cool. So pop quiz. Which is a better way to earn your degree? Commute to college and fill your gas tank, get stuck in traffic, drive in bad weather, try to find a parking space, walk a half-mile to class, or learn online at Independence University. In the park on a bench, on the beach on a towel, or on your couch with your kid. Your campus is wherever you want it to be. You don't go to college. College goes to you. That's independence. That's Independence University. You schedule classes around your schedule, and all your supplies, including a brand new laptop and tablet, are included with tuition. At Independence U, you'll learn from professional instructors with real work experience. You'll get personal support in school and employment assistance when you graduate. Get your degree, but keep your life. That's independence. That's Independence University. So if you're really smart, you'd call now.
Call 1-800-965-2704.
Independence U, for an independent you.
Call 1-800-965-2704.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
Don't allow your weight to threaten your health or control your future. Excess weight or obesity can cause emotional and physical health risks. But you can take control. The Your Weight Matters campaign offers free resources and tips to help you measure and understand your weight. Take the Your Weight Matters Challenge. The free toolkit prepares you to speak with a healthcare provider about your weight. Your weight does matter. Take the challenge and take control today.
Recovery from mental and substance use disorders is real.
You can recover.
It's possible. It happens every day.
Never give up on yourself.
Discover hope and help.
I thought I was too far gone. I wasn't.
Join the Voices for Recovery.
The world is a beautiful place again.
For 24-hour free and confidential information and treatment referral for mental and substance use disorders for you or someone you know, call 1-800-662-HELP.
Checking primetime headlines, as we just talked about at the trapezoid, President Trump is back at it again, tweeting about the NFL players protesting during the national anthem. ABC's Emily Rao is in New York with the latest. Obviously, that was the wrong story, so let us move on. The lawyer who represents Stormy Daniels has come up with a new way to upset President Trump by considering a bid for the White House. Michael Avenatti says he is in Iowa to headline a Democratic fundraiser Friday known as the Wing Ding Dinner. It is well known as a proving ground for potential presidential hopefuls.
I'm here to listen to the great people of Iowa, explore the fair, and figure out if it makes any sense to run for the presidency or not.
How seriously are you considering this?
I'm serious about considering it. I haven't made a decision as to what I'm going to do. I'll make the decision in the coming weeks. I do think I could beat the president in a general election.
When President Trump's pick for be the next Supreme Court justice will have his Senate confirmation hearing, Brett Kavanaugh's hearing will begin on September 4th. Senator Grassley says he expects proceedings to last 3 or 4 days. Following the hearing, the full Senate will consider Kavanaugh's nomination. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has said he hopes to have a vote before the next Supreme Court term begins in early October. Kavanaugh was tapped to replace Justice Anthony Kennedy, who announced his retirement earlier this year. If Buffalo Wild Wings gets its way, one day you'll be able to eat dinner there and bet on a game at the same time. Now the U.S. Supreme Court has opened the door for states to legalize sports betting. The sports bar chain has announced it is exploring the possibility of offering sports wagering. As the largest sports bar in America, we believe Buffalo Wild Wings is uniquely positioned to leverage sports gaming to enhance the restaurant experience for our guests. Many other states are considering legislation that would allow it in the hopes of cashing in on what could be a multi-billion-dollar industry. And that's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us. Have a great weekend.